Okay, this is week 2 of building technology that captures the imagination. This week, I was kind of hoping it would be a bit more technical, but really it was just purely philosophical. I'll start off with a story that has to do with that thought process taking place this week. I went on a wild goose chase at UVic to try to find the teacher that did the study on the Neural Muse headband that I wanted to check out. And it was just torrential downpour, so I'm just walking around the rain, and these people that were working at the school were not very on it. So they were telling me, go to this place, and then, the teacher wouldn't be there. And then they'd say, oh, he's here. And then he wouldn't be there. So I had to run around campus to try to find this guy. And eventually I got to his classroom, and it turns out he's on a trip to London right now. So I wasn't able to speak with him. And so as I was out walking around, I couldn't really help but think, why am I actually here doing this? Like, what's the purpose? Because I could learn anything I need to know from either research or AI explaining previously done research. And so why wouldn't I just do that? And then I thought even more into that, and how if I was going to have a conversation with this guy, there's all these external factors that would get in the way of me accessing an internal state that would be able to actually have a good one-on-one. You assume a sort of character when you're out in public, consciously or unconsciously, and that affects your ability to actually purely be curious. And for me, that made me appreciate technology more, and it made me appreciate the potential for me to make technology that allows people to tap into that. Because I did some research. There is a state of mind that is you connecting with your subconscious mind and having an internal monologue. And there's more friction when you're attempting to do that with a conversation with somebody else than there is to document it. That's why writing became such an amazing thing for people to start to do, because they could sort of build their inner consciousness by being able to have a place for it to flush out and sort of cycle through. There's a cycle that started. Before, it was just through conversation with family members when you're, or the people that you're around. But now there's an internal sort of flowing process of us having an idea, being curious about something, and whether it's through showing interest on it in social media, which affects the algorithm of what we see, and then what gets continually cycled through by developing our interests, or if it's through the experiences we choose to have, like whether we watch certain movies that expand that sort of flow of thought. And as we consume those things that we're interested in, we get insights, and then we switch to creation. So it's sort of a phase of research, and then at certain points throughout that phase of research, we'll have certain ideas that aren't created yet. So then we have the opportunity to create those ideas. And this flow of like consuming what you're interested in, and then through that finding the gaps in that world, and then building and adding value to that world, and then moving on to the next sort of level, is really intriguing to me. But I'll speak from personal experience here. It almost seems like the level technology is at is always just a couple years or a couple things behind where you would want it to be to create these new ideas. And that's a good thing. It seems like a good thing, because it allows people to go and make those technologies to continue the sort of evolution of technology. And so I'm sort of stuck between, is this a good thing? Is the evolution and the learning process I'm going through worth the absence of taking something from it, building something that is useful and makes other people's lives better, and sort of benefiting from that personally and helping other people benefit from it personally? But then I think I'm 20 years old. So is it a bad thing that I'm on this learning path and not this crafting path? Because that's really what it is. Along the learning path, you still craft things, but it's a specific venture to try to pick something and then go and build a business with it and benefit from it, like financially and in an external sense. And so to sum it up, that's kind of where I'm at right now in terms of this pursuit. Do I continue this path of fulfilling my curiosity, or do I take a leap off that sort of intuition train and try to actually step into the real world and build something? And that connects to the disconnection with the public that I was talking about. It really does seem like when you're, working with people constantly and around people constantly, and you don't have that time to sort of just go throughout your day and explore your curiosity and not sort of have a million different things bumping in your head like there would be in sort of a startup situation. There's like a real value in that. So food for thought.